Hello everyone, Rosh Hashanah Sameach, Happy New Year. It's October 1st. We still have 101 hostages in Gaza, and it is day 361 of the war between Israel and Hamas. And these are the articles for today from Yediot Achronot. We have a lot going on today. So here we have Hadilema Yisraelit, the Israeli dilemma. Ha'im letzet lemitkavat mena. Should we go on a preventative sort of strike attack al mitkanei hagar'in b'iran, on Iran's nuclear plants? And then here, the main news, betoch Lebanon, inside Lebanon, nilchamim b'Hezbollah, fighting Hezbollah, ma'imim al Tehran. We're intimidating or threatening Tehran. There's so much to go through today. Let's get to it. So after a lot of training and preparation, the world is updating and reporting of a ground invasion of Israel into Lebanon. And it says here, Ma'avar Gvul, across the border. And they talk basically about a ground invasion of Israel into the border of Lebanon. I think about this every single time that there's some kind of update of what Israel is doing in the world, and the people forget that one of the first things that Israel does is that they not only prepare for this attack, but they also warn the Lebanese citizens. So it says here that they warn them to evacuate, not to take over their houses, but literally to keep them safe, because they try to avoid casualties. But there's very heavy artillery of the IDF. Tanks are targeting very specific places in Lebanon. And also there's a partial northern withdrawal of the Lebanese army. So what they're trying to achieve here is that all of Hezbollah's forces will basically go north of the Litei River, which was already something in agreement years ago, but of course they didn't keep to that agreement. And so the world is accusing Israel of some kind of like aggression or retaliation, when really Hezbollah shouldn't be there in the first place. And here you can see in this picture the IDF forces on the northern border yesterday. And I can tell you guys that I was yesterday at a concert that was, thank God, not canceled, but all of the cultural things that are happening now, a lot of them are canceled all over the country, even if it is up north. But what was happening in the middle of this concert is that me and my friends, and you could see people on their phones, they were sort of like waiting in suspense, you know, on social media, looking at the news to see if that was actually going to happen. Because a ground invasion is so much different than us, you know, going in with our fighter jets and targeting a specific area. There's so many more risks that happen when you actually go in by foot, also with, you know, fallen soldiers. But not only that, hostages. Anytime a IDF soldier goes over a border, there is the risk of them, you know, their body being taken hostage, or the risk that they'll be taken alive, which causes a huge, you know, problem for Israel, let alone the fact that it's, you know, heartbreaking and hard for the families. Here you can see the Minister of Defense, Yoav Gallant, with army personnel up in the north. And in the picture below, you can see a very similar thing, that they're preparing all these army personnel for this ground invasion. They've been training for weeks and months even. Here you can see in this picture an Israeli attack on what probably is a civilian home with ammunition in it, because they stored their ammunition in civilian homes. You can literally see the plume right in a residential area, which is very unfortunate. And this is your opportunity to tell us what you think in the comments below about the ground invasion in Lebanon. Are you for it, against it? What do you think the army should do? So another interesting thing that has happened recently is that Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu tried to replace the Defense Minister Gallant with Gidon Sa'ar. We'll show you guys this caricature here. You can see Bibi Netanyahu with his wife, and they're playing limbo with Gidon Sa'ar. So, and Bibi Netanyahu is saying, "Kadima, ata yachol namuch yoter," like, you know, go for it. You can go even lower. Gidon Sa'ar was about to take the offer to become the Minister of Defense, but the controversy here was the fact that he doesn't have any experience, and to replace Gallant with this inexperienced person, a lot of people were looking at Bibi Netanyahu and saying, you're only doing this so that you're not held accountable for, you know, specific things, so that you can stay in office. Sort of it being between him and his wife, that seems to be what people think the agenda is. He did say no, but they're trying to sort of bring him in different other ways. And that's why they're saying you can go even lower, sort of talking about the morality of the issue. And now for the news about the nuclear plant, whether to attack that in Iran or not. Here we have an opinion article from Nadav Ayal, and it says, Yoter mitamid, now more than ever, תקיפת מתקני הגרעין, the attacking of the nuclear plants, של איראן על השולחן, the attacking of the nuclear plants of Iran is on the table. And it says here that really sort of heavy negotiations and considerations are being taken place to go for an attack like this, and basically putting the pros and the cons on the table. They also say that they have to consider the risks that are involved with that. It's not a small matter. And they're saying here that the leadership in Tehran needs to make a decision what they're going to do and also what we're going to do. And it says here that they're trying to figure out what the proper response should be for the assassination of Nasrallah and Ismail Khania. And the opinion here from Nadav is that they have basically two options. They're going, or actually three options. They're going to do a massive attack on Israel that they've been trying to do for months since April, and it has failed. The second thing would be a very pinpointed and painful attack on Israel. So not just like sending rockets, but one really definitive attack. And then the third option would be basically strategic patience to allow Hezbollah to sort of rebuild themselves and then sort of regroup and attack again. And here you can see in this picture a grieving, a mourning procession for Nasrallah in Tehran yesterday. You can see this huge picture of Nasrallah. You can see the flag of Lebanon. You can see the Hezbollah flag that's basically ammunition, a gun. And you can also see Palestinian flags and a whole bunch of what I'm assuming is flowers. They're literally mourning Nasrallah as you would, a great leader. But not everyone is mourning Nasrallah. There were so many Lebanese and people in Syria, people in Iran, people in Israel that were very, very happy that he was assassinated because of all of the suffering that he bestowed on all of us. They were even sort of happy about the type of death that he endured. Basically, he was trapped inside a room in his bunker and died a very sort of like slow and agonizing death, sort of inhaling gas. And people rejoiced even more about that. Sometimes in Arab cultures, what they'll do is they'll basically go to sweet shops and they'll take everything off the shelves and buy baklawa, on these huge platters, and just go on the street celebrating, handing out these sweets with fireworks. And so not everyone is sad about Nasrallah dying, and that's just one example. An example of someone who actually is happy about this is Ora Khatan. You can see in this picture, Ora is sitting basically at the ruins of her family restaurant that suffered a direct hit. Literally after this picture was taken, it suffered a direct hit again 15 minutes later. Ora from Moshav Shtula, that is right on the border of Lebanon, says that you can sort of recognize nitzotzot shel optimiyut, which is sparks of optimism. She was happy about Nasrallah being taken out and also the heavy blow on Hezbollah. And she stayed in this area, this dangerous area in the north, so that she can feed the combat soldiers that are fighting. And yet still she says that she is against a ground maneuver because she says, "Achi chashuv lachzir et hachatufim." The most important thing is that we bring the hostages home. Some people are against this ground maneuver because they feel like they're taking the focus away from the war against Hamas in Gaza, which doesn't really, quote unquote, help the hostages and sort of putting the focus more up north. And even though she is there under this artillery, hoping that they can go back home, her and all the citizens of the north, she is still against this maneuver, although many people are for it. Now let's talk about another female hero that's doing a wonderful job, the first of her type. It says here, Rishona b'tafkid, the first in this role, Harishona l'chzor l'bayit b'kibbutz, the first to go back to their home in the kibbutz. Here it talks about basically a couple that is anonymous, but the wife is the first in this specific role. That is a rare role, and she's doing a wonderful job. Sergeant Colonel Sheen is the first woman that acts as the head of branch of attack in the center of the fire of the Pikud HaTzafon, of the northern area. She was heavily responsible in the Miftzah Chitzei HaTzafon, the operation of the northern arrows, or the arrows of the north, which is what is happening now. Sheen also has the privilege of working besides her husband, that is in a intelligence role in the army. It says here that for this couple, it's also very personal because they were evacuated with a lot of other different people from their kibbutz in Suba. And here you can see in this picture, Sheen that is in that role with her little children. And it says here, my parents took responsibility for the children. When you think about it, there are a lot of people that, they're reservists and one of their spouses is at home, but some of them have two parents that are serving in the army. And so the grandparents basically take care of their children. Talking about inspiration, another inspirational figure is being commemorated today in a wonderful day. There's a Yediot Achronot journalist called Meir Shalev. You can see him there in this picture, and it says Bebeito HaChadash, in his new home. So basically, Meir Shalev has been a journalist for Yediot Achronot for the last 30 years, and he has literally been meeting leaders, world leaders, poets, people of influence. All of his notes that he took over those last 30 years, you can see in this picture, will be put in the National Library in Jerusalem in their archive, because there's so much history involved in everything that this man does. He has letters here, he has his own notes that he took for his investigations, his interviews with key figures. And people like this are really appreciated because they do such great work for the people of Israel to report the news. And we're very grateful for Meir Shalev and all the work that he's done for us over 30 years. This is video 101, and you guys have been here for all of it. And we want to thank you guys and wish you guys a very happy Jewish New Year, Shana Tova Mituka. We say in Hebrew, Shetiyeh Shana Mituka Midvash, that you would have a year that is sweeter than honey. And as always, if you want more Israel-related content, go to allisrael.com, hit subscribe and the notification bell, and we'll see you guys in the new year.